I mean, it's kind of a different Bay Hill this year with kind of the gnarly rough, no more runoffs, all that stuff. Just kind of assess your round considering the tougher conditions.
Yeah, it was a tough start, I feel like. Certainly possible to make birdies, but you don't have to be far off to get off to a rough start. And the wind kind of got me in spots and made a bogey on 3 and managed to bounce back pretty quickly. But it was a lot of back and forth all day. So it's a place where it's doable to score, but at the same time, you don't have to be very far off to make bogeys and doubles.
How aggressive were you out there today? Like, how many drivers did you hit? Did you like hit iron off 10 and 11? Like, what did you end up doing?
I've always hit driver on 10, so that was not a big change. But I've hit way more 3-woods this year than past years. Partly because I'm hitting it a bit longer than previous years, but it's just so important to be in the fairway. And I just think I'm going to hit a few more fairways with a 3-wood. And I'm a good long iron player, so I feel like I can, as long as I'm hitting from the fairway, I can score around here.
How'd you add distance? Were you like lifting like fridges or something over the off season or what?
Just over the past couple of years, trying to get a little bit stronger. But it's all about, if you want to get faster, you got to practice getting faster. So just swinging it harder, allocating some time every single week to just try to ramp up some speed.
And then also, it's different around the greens this year with the lack of runoff areas, like behind 6, on 4, 15. Do you prefer the runoff areas, or do you prefer kind of the thick rough, and what's harder?
I'd say generally I like runoffs better, just from a design standpoint. But I think the certain holes where they took away the runoffs and just made it rough, I think it actually fits better. Because with how firm the greens get, I've just multiple times, for example, on 15, I'll hit a good shot, land on the green, barely roll off the green, and then it's almost in the rough all the way down on the other side. Whereas if you just hit it in the rough off the tee and you kind of just chunk it down there in the bunker, you're actually way better off than the guy that hit a decent shot and rolled off the green. So I think it protects some of that a little bit. Same thing on 6. You can hit a pretty decent shot, but the fairways or the greens get so firm and sloped away from you. Again, you go all the way down in that runoff, and then you got a left pin. I mean, you got no shot. Yeah. So I like that aspect of it, but it's not easy either because, as you said, the rough is really thick. So it's just a different challenge.
What's the best runoff area? Sorry. What's the best runoff area you've played ever or on tour?
I don't know the best, but one that stands in my mind, I really enjoyed playing the Zurich Classic because all the greens are just kind of out in the open, but there are very subtle slopes around the greens, and if you miss greens, I mean, you can either loft it up in the air to spin it, or you can bounce something into the slope, or you can putt it. So I really like that versatility around the green. So I think that course really does a good job of that. Any Pete Dye course really does a good job of that.
Thanks, Victor.
You were talking about trying to get more speed earlier. What kind of drills are you doing in practice to kind of get there for speed?
Yeah, the first kind of point for me was I had a really slow backswing before. Like my tempo going up was really slow compared to going down. So first step was just to try to swing really fast going back. And then I kind of got past the threshold of making that comfortable. So now I don't have to think about that. But, now it's just kind of 3-4 days a week. I don't get to do it as much on the road, but when I'm at home, at least try to give myself 20 minutes where I hit 30, 40 balls and just try to hit it as hard as I can. And then when I'm done with that, I kind of go back to try to hit it straight. So, you just kind of have to shock your body a little bit.
Yeah, and Coach Smith was telling me about the 4-5-6 drill that you do with putting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you describe that to the general golfer?
It's just looking at my putting stats. I feel like I'm a pretty decent putter, but I've had a tendency of missing a few too many short putts. So the 4-5-6 drill is just a good way for me to kind of, I'll hit obviously one putt from 4 feet, and then it's in kind of a cross formation where I hit the same putt from 5 feet, but it's just a foot further back. So I can kind of get into a rhythm of knowing where my starting points are, but then at the same time mixing it up by going around the hole. So yeah, it just gives me confidence before I go out and play.
Thank you.
Yep.
Could you just assess your round in Norwegian?
Okay.
Just kind of assess your round overall in Norwegian, please.
Ja, nei, det var en bra dag I dag, synes jeg. Det ikke lett ut på der, og hadde kanskje ikke den beste starten. Men jeg følte at jeg gjorde en god jobb med å henge I det og være tålmodig, og ja, det fort gjort å gjøre en bogey, og så prøve at man skal bli litt aggressiv på de neste hullene, og da går det fort ille. Så jeg gjorde en god jobb I dag med å bare være tålmodig.
Thank you.
Ja.